Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert back with the TED Show. Super excited to be here on a Friday. I am so thankful it's Friday. I don't know about anybody else. What a week. We have our returning, amazing, talented Theresa Smith-Levin with Central Florida Vocal Arts on the show today. And we are talking about Gender Bender, a musical review. And we have one of the, I'll say, stars of
Mhm.
the show. Desiree Montes is on the show. Welcome to both of you.
Oh,
Thank you.
So excited to have you. I love this. I told you we're buying tickets. I can't wait for you guys to promote and talk about it. It's tonight. It kicks off, guys, tonight. Gender Bender, a musical review, and you have to hear the explanation to really understand the power of what they're doing. But before we get into that, the audience, of course, would love to know more about you both. So I always start with Teresa, but I'm going to start with Desiree. Desiree, tell us a little bit about you. They love origin story. They probably want to know if you woke up as a baby and you had this beautiful voice or how that all transpired and your journey. So tell us a little bit about you.
well, I don't think that was the case. I know I sang a lot as a child, but I don't know if I was born that quite that gifted. Um, let's see. I uh, grew up singing in the church, so I knew I could sing. I also grew up very athletic, so I knew that I could dance. And when I got into high school, I started taking theater classes. I've always grown up on classical standards and jazz and musical theater productions that have been converted to movies, and so that was very much part of who I was and something that I always loved. I just didn't know, I guess, whether I was an actor because I'd never tried. And then I was playing sports. I was supposed to go to college for sports, but I was playing sports in high school and was in a theater class. And I was encouraged to audition for the musical theater show, the production that they West Side Story. And I had I had one of the coaches that was very stereotypical, like you see on TV, like, no, this is what you're doing for the next 4 years, or you're going to ride that, do anything like that. Um, so I let that fear stop me from pursuing the arts. I regretted it the entire summer. And so my sophomore year, I came back in and I gave up the sports that took away all of my time and I committed myself to the theater. And I've been ever since. So my Les Mis, I was Fantine in Les Mis, and
Wow.
um, I'm not been able to go back.
Your story sounds a little bit familiar, like Glee. I love it. But I love that you followed your passion. You had two passions at the time. It's really hard when you have to choose one. I mean, it's not like it's vocals and acting. You had sports and theater. What an opposite kind of scenario. But I love that you were able to choose what you wanted to do, and you have not looked back, I imagine.
At the end of the day, I think what it came down to was athletics were things that I were good at, and things I enjoyed, but it's not something that I was passionate about necessarily. I just knew that it could lead me in a direction that perhaps my family wanted me to go in. So that was sort of where my mind was set. Um, and then when something else came in and triggered that, passion inside of me, that's just sort of where I decided to let it go. Um, and so since then, I pursued it in college, and up until this year, have been performing full time professionally. I work for two of the parks. I'm currently furloughed right now, but it is my full time. I've pretty much dedicated every aspect of my life to the arts in one way or the other, whether it's teaching or performing, or being on the technical side of it. That's sort of where it's been for me for the past few years.
I love it. All right. So tell me, Teresa, you have to tell us about you and then how you met this wonderful, talented Desiree.
I have to pause because I didn't know Des played sports in high school. Like, I didn't know that. What did you play?
Everything. Religiously, I was a softball player.
Me too. I was so excited. I was like, maybe she played softball too.
My family, my grandfather was an umpire, a coach.
Uh-huh.
My mother and my aunt played it, so we were very much a baseball family. But I danced, I did gymnastics, I swam on the swim team, I bowled randomly. I did but softball. What I was supposed to go to college for.
It's interesting because like played softball from the time I was in 4th grade till the time I was a junior in high school. So I did like the whole travel ball thing. I did the whole JV varsity thing in high school. And then similarly, it was like, okay, what are you going to do, Theresa? You need to make a decision about your life. And so it was chorus for me. It was performing arts for me as well. So it's interesting.
That's awesome. I didn't know that either.
I was a softball pitcher. So like if you like touch my right shoulder, like it just like cracks and does weird things. Yeah. Yep. It's a thing.
A rotator cuff injury on my left one. So
yep. So
my arm hurt from lifting the wine glass a lot. Pretty much the only injury I have. All right, Theresa, tell us, other than softball, like, you obviously made a choice, and now you're in the arts.
Yeah, so I feel like everybody on your show knows me, which I'm so thankful for because I just love being here with you. But yeah, so I played softball too. There's a fun new Theresa fact. And I then, of course, I went to Winter Park High School, which I haven't talked much about my high school experience, but my teacher at the time, Trey Jacobs, is probably the best conductor I've ever worked under. The level of musicianship in our choir, in my high school choir, has been unmet in any choir I've sung with since that time. And so he was very formative in my musicality, and a lot of people who live here, their musicality as well, and what they do professionally. Like if you look at the graduating classes from Winter Park High School chorus from like 2000 to 2006, it's incredible. It's incredible who's out there doing this professionally, teaching professionally. Like it's very, very cool. So anyways, that's where my passion started. Eventually I started Central Florida Vocal Arts, and a lot of what I do still is an homage to those experiences that I have, which is why I think that it's so important that we cultivate that in young artists, because they may go on to do this professionally, or they will just develop that empathy, those life skills that they can take into whatever their professional setting might be. So that's my passion with Central Florida Vocal Arts. And we like to surprise people, turn things on its head, not do it the way everybody has always done it. I just had a meeting right before this, and a girl at the meeting said, yeah, I just don't take no well. I just don't really. And I was like, me either, girl, me either. I'm just good at being like, if the door's not open, let's find a window. We'll figure it out and do something cool.
All right, so tell us about Central Florida Vocal Arts. We had that after we did the last show. Somebody said you didn't ask Ted what Central Florida Vocal Arts is and what it does. And I thought, well, there's been a whole bunch of shows before that, but that is a fair comment.
But we will catch you up to speed. So yes, I founded Central Florida Vocal Arts in 2012 as a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to music advocacy. And our goal is to create a better community through performing arts education, performance, and appreciation. So we look to connect with our community on different community issues. We bring opera and musical theater to people where they live and work. We're reinventing who an audience member for an opera might be. Up to date, not just here in Orlando, but around the world. Opera is looked at as sort of this exclusive club. It's a little bit elitist. We're trying to break down those walls and bring everybody to the table. People who come from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, races, orientations, like this is for everyone. And there's this misconception that opera is stuffy, that it's supposed to be very formal. Anybody who really knows music history and has studied this, it wasn't at all. It was like the movies, sex, love, death, murder, like all sorts of craziness. But because we haven't taken the time to modernize it and make it relevant and adjust the narrative to modern audiences, what ends up happening is a lot of audiences feel excluded, they can't relate to it, and they miss out on this stunning music and these beautiful voices. So we're trying to change that from basically birth to death. Like we have stuff for little young ones where we start training them in music, developing their skills, but also their appreciation. Our main stage productions, which is what Gender Bender is, that reaches out to everyone in our community and says, hey, come watch this cool thing that we're doing, and does something a little bit different. You're never going to see us just flat produce a show. Like that's not fun. I mean, it is fun, but it's just not what we're about. And then Opera del Sol, which is the third part of our organization, we work to tackle issues in our community. So right now, specifically with Opera del Sol, we're working with Project Opioid, and September is Recovery Month. And so what we have done is we wrote an original piece called Requiem that was supposed to premiere at Orlando Fringe this past May, but obviously Fringe was canceled. We had created this script and this storyline about a girl who ultimately overdoses, but how do we get there? Because it's really easy if you don't have anyone that you know or that firsthand experience to look at as an addict as somebody who isn't like you, who's not as good as you, who made bad choices, as opposed to somebody who maybe had a horrible streak of luck in their life that brought them to this point. And so anyways, all that being said,
that's going to be powerful too.
It's very cool. So we actually did some recordings of 5 of the pieces from the show last week at Timucua House, and they're going to be used for webinars in conjunction with Project Opioid every Wednesday in the month of September, sharing a piece of that music and that story to make it, I mean, the reality is music appeals to our soul, right? So I can tell you that, but when you see it and you hear it, you're going to feel differently about it. So to really help people connect to that. So that's basically us in a nutshell. We do a lot of different things, but I'm very passionate about it.
That's how we met. We met Opera del Sol, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Nicole knew you first, and then we met, we deeply connected, and so now we're all friends.
I love everything that you do in the community. I love how you bring people together, and nothing that you all do could ever be considered boring or mainstream, which I love, because I think you're right. People are intimidated by the vocal arts, and then they're super intimidated by anything that has the word opera next to it. And so we got to educate them. We have to, and so you all have done just an amazing job of really trying to connect people and make them realize it doesn't have to be intimidating. You can actually feel it and be passionate about it without feeling weird about not understanding everything that goes on. So I love it. All right, so let's talk about Gender Bender, a musical review. Talk to us, tell us.
So I am so excited about this production. You know, we took a huge leap of faith in creating a digital production with a full symphony orchestra and 6 live singers to record this and have an amazing videographer, Tyler Harrington, who you met last week, come in and film it for us. Not really knowing, I mean, that's not our wheelhouse. We've never done something like this before. Not knowing whether people would trust us and buy tickets, not knowing whether or not this would look, you'd get a similar experience, whether it would be good. But we knew that we had the talent in the room. And I'm a firm believer that you mix ingredients and you trust people and good things will happen. And I could not be more thrilled with the outcome. We got the final project yesterday morning. And it's just stunning. And what I love about it is don't go into it expecting it to look like what it would look like if you went to a live performance. It's not that. And what's really special about that is you get to see things that you otherwise would never see if you went to a live performance. So you're going to see the expression on the conductor's face while he's working with the orchestra. You're going to get close up on like a trumpet player, a clarinet player, see what they're doing, engage with their musicianship as well as the singers. But what's cool about the singers is instead of, being all the way back here and watching them and kind of feeling what they're doing, you are like right here. You can watch a bead of sweat go down a singer's face, see how engaged they are, how hard they're working. It's emotional. It's beautiful. I am so excited to share this with everybody. It's so different than I think what so many people are expecting. But I would say if you're at all interested, check out the event page on Facebook. Check out our Facebook page, the Central Florida Vocal Arts page, which is CFL Vocal Arts. Check out our website. You can see some of these trailers and really the style and vibe of this performance. I'm so excited.
So Desiree, what attracted you to Gender Bender? What was it that you're like, all right, I need or I want to be a part of that?
Theresa.
That makes me really happy. Thank you.
I wanted to work with her for so long. And not just her, but Nicole, who's a part of it, Nisha, who's a part of it, Aaron Collins, the conductor, who I've heard, I've seen his performances before, and I've heard wonderful things about him as a collaborative just an all-star team. I've worked with David Bracamonte before, so I have known him. The other performers that I'm working with, it's new experience for me with them. I did not know them prior to this, but they have been lovely and wonderful, and they're so gifted, so talented. We didn't have, well, did you guys have virtual rehearsals before this?
No, you were the only virtual rehearsal that we did.
Okay, so I was on the road when they were preparing for this because I went on a field trip. So it was nice to come back in and get in the day of recording and just see all of these people in their element for the first time, and especially after being quarantined for so long, right? It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm so honored that she reached out and she called me and asked me to be a part of it, and that I was available and able to do it. I'm just glad it all worked out.
She's a popular girl. Desiree's like really popular. Yeah, she does a lot of work. And so a lot of things like we talked about in the past, it's been hard to find a time to collaborate together. And so if there was a blessing in all of this, it's the fact that like great performers had a lot more space on their dance card for us because there's not much going on.
No. So tell me about, there's not. And that's why I love what you always do things when you would expect nothing to be done. So kudos to you, Theresa, for always doing the stuff out there when other people aren't doing the things that you would want.
I don't like the word no. Like, I don't like the word no.
All right. So tell us about, I told you last time, gender bender, when I thought of it, I'm like, okay, so guys will be dressed like girls. And that's your first thought process in my mind. But it's not like that. So explain the concept, either one of you, of gender bender.
So Des, why don't you talk about it a little bit?
Okay, so initially when I came into this, I was in that, because I hear gender bender and I think, okay, I'm going to sing this song in the key of the man, right? Which is fine because luckily I have a lower range. It's not even necessarily that at all. It's more of just a female embodying a role that a man would normally have portrayed, and vice versa. The musicality that comes to it is just the same. The emotional intent behind it is just the same, if not more. Different approach, different performer, right? But I don't feel, there's a little flair to it at times. There's some performers who come in and then they add some little nuances and some touches to their songs. But I don't think anything that's jarring. If you listen to it, it's not like, oh man, that just really doesn't sound right, because that's normally sung by a guy, I just think it's beautifully done. It's just a simple way of us performers to be able to emote to songs that we have loved singing or have dreamed of singing for long periods of time, and just do it to a wonderful platform with a wonderful company and have an orchestra behind us. It's amazing. And I have video. I don't think anybody's seen the video except for Theresa and whoever's putting it together, but the trailer came out yesterday, and I was excited to see the conductor's face and excited to I especially when they play passionately, and so I'm really excited to see it. I just hope everybody takes the time and gets a ticket. They're only $10, and
yes, Janessa is really good about promoting. I put up a few things Janessa said. She gave the link. Guys, if you're paying attention watching, please look at the comments. Janessa has put all the links to everything. It's only $10, which is so amazing that you're getting all of this talent and such a cool concept. Like last time we talked about how the Les Mis song will be sung by a man, and that's one of my favorite songs. I love that song. I love everything about the switch off, though. I have usually a little bit of a higher range, so when I sing, I can sing some lady parts. And so I love the fact that you're switching it, because like Theresa said last time we were on last week, you get a different emotional feeling from it. You're getting this masculine energy in a feminine role and vice versa. And how cool is that to see and witness and watch you all as performers bring that to life? I think it's just such a phenomenal idea. I love it. All right, so Janessa just posted a really big one. Before I cut Desiree off, or both of you off, there's the trailer. So we got lots of good links in here, guys. For those of you who are watching, and we have lots of people watching across the platforms, reach out, check it out. How did you choose, Theresa? And then we'll get to Desiree, because guys, Desiree's gonna perform for us. How did you figure out who would go with what song, Theresa? How did you guys?
We always start with programming the show, right? Okay, what songs can we do? What pieces do we want to feature? And so we started with the programming component of putting this together. Nisha Johnson, who's our artistic director, and I, and then just going back and forth, like, what do you think about this person on this? What about this person here? Oh, I'd love to feature this person. And so basically just following back and forth, people who we had in our network who we thought would be a really good fit. And we came to these 6 amazing singers. And as we were just talking about it, I wanted to say, I challenge everyone who watches. One of the things that I found, and I know these pieces like the back of my hand, right? I challenge you to feel like, see if you remember that it's supposed to be sung by a person of the opposite gender, because I kept forgetting. It didn't feel foreign. It didn't feel ill-placed. Like, it felt like it was always supposed to be sung that way. And so that was really, really beautiful. One of my favorite moments is Brian Hayes singing Un Bel Dive from Madame Butterfly. There's this, you'll see it. So Tyler takes this spin angle on his face and like that moment, like it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, I was there while this was being shot. And the perspective that I was getting from this is so much more intimate. It's like anybody who's watched Hamilton, right? With Jonathan Groff, the like thing that people talk about is like his spit, right? You can see his spit. If you attended Hamilton, you probably wouldn't notice that. No one was talking about that before. Why? Because you can't see it when you're in the audience. But when you're this close, all those nuances, that intensity becomes so apparent. So I'm very just excited to share this with everybody tonight.
I love it. All right, so Desiree is going to sing for us, so you can. I've not heard her sing, so I'm very, very excited. Tell us what you are going to sing.
Okay. Well, there's a song in the show that I do from Jekyll and Hyde. So I'm Henry Jekyll in the show. I'm going to be singing today, I Need to Know, which is not in the show, but I didn't want to give too much away. So I'll just go ahead.
Love it. All right, so we're gonna focus now on Desiree, mainly because I want to see her, secondarily so I can have another glass of my wine. Here we go.
All right, let me just make sure this is it. I need to know the nature of the demons that possess man's soul. I need to know why man's content to let them make him less than whole. Why does he revel in murder and madness? What is it makes him be less than he should? Why is he doomed not to reach his potential? His soul is black when he turns his back upon good. I need to find a way to get inside the tortured mind of man. I need to try to separate the good and evil if I can. One thing is certain, the evil is stronger. Good fight's a hopeless and desperate fight. I must find ways of adjusting the balance to bring him back from the empty black edge of night. I need to go where no man has ventured before, to search for the key to the door that will end all this tragic and senseless decay. But how to go, I need to know. Dear God, guide me, show me how to succeed. With your wisdom inside me, Henry Jekyll will follow wherever you lead. I need to see the truth other men cannot see, to be things that others can be. Give me courage to go where no angel will go, and I will go. I need to know.
Ted, you're muted. You're very passionate about what you're doing, and I believe you, but we cannot hear you.
So I am so moved, and I'm so happy you chose music over softball. Maybe that's a very selfish thing on my part. The range, that is low. You're struggling. I mean, I was struggling going, oh my God, it's amazing she can hit those low tones and low notes. That's beautiful. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I loved it. So are you allowed to say what you're singing tonight, or is this a surprise?
I guess I can. Well, let's see. The issue is I don't have anything that I am singing, that I am singing, because it's all done with.
I meant, what are you singing tonight? Can you share with us what song or songs you're singing?
Well, we've got a lot of ensemble pieces. We're doing some Three Little Maids. We're doing an ABBA medley. We're doing Sound of Music medley, and they're so fun. They're so fun to do. Our solos, I am. This is the Moment, which is another song from Jekyll and Hyde.
I love that song.
It's in a higher key, but I'm singing that song. And I'm going to be singing some Man of La Mancha. Do you know what song I'm going to be singing?
Impossible Dream?
Dream.
I love that song.
It sounds so good in her voice. Oh my gosh, it's stunning. Like, I'm so excited for everybody to see everything.
All right, so tell us how people, again, Theresa or Desiree or both, how can people buy a ticket, watch, get involved? What's the best way? Janessa has done such a great job, but you might as well verbally tell us again, because we
Absolutely.
have.
So the tickets are through Ticket Leap, and you can find that link to get there either through our website, which is www.centralfloridaVocalArts.org, or you can find us on Facebook. All of that's posted there. The tickets are $10, and tonight and tomorrow at 7:30, it's a YouTube live premiere. What that means is that you're able to comment along. So that's a really interesting component that you wouldn't get if you were sitting in an audience. You can't talk to the guy next to you and go, oh my gosh, look at her dress. Wow, that high note, that's amazing. But you can on YouTube. So that's kind of cool. So if you're able to, 7:30 tonight or tomorrow, but let's say you can't, you're working, whatever, you have plans. Once you have the link, you can watch it at any point. So it's great if you can attend with us live, but even if you can't, buy yourself a ticket, do it on Sunday, do it on a weeknight, whenever. And not only that, we want you to buy them for tonight and tomorrow, but if you are interested, those tickets will be available through the end of October so that you would be able to watch it at your convenience, maybe for a special birthday or a celebration. You're still able to access that content.
It's amazing. All right. So I know Desiree really has to speed off and get to the show. Thank you both for coming on the show. That was beautiful. I'm so excited for Gender Bender, a musical review. Theresa Smith-Levin with Central Florida Vocal Arts, and Desiree Montes, who is performing tonight in Gender Bender, a musical review. I love you guys to pieces. I think what you do in our community is just amazing. So thank you for taking time out. Thank you for performing live, Desiree. That was amazing.
Thank you so much. It's fun. Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Good luck. Break a leg. Do we still say that in the COVID world? I don't know.
We say break a leg. Don't get COVID.
Yes, that's the next part of it. All right. Have a great weekend. Everybody buy your tickets. Gender Bender, a musical review. CentralFloridaVocalArts.org. Go there. All right. We'll see.